Hello, Tauros fans, and welcome back to All Access. Now, I have some good news and I have some bad news. The bad news is, unfortunately, Liv will not be on this episode of All Access, but good news is we will be here the whole month of November, so you will get Monday through Thursday All Access, so we will have plenty for you this coming month. But let's just get right into the weekend recap. So Friday's game, that was game one of what is going to be 4 games against the St. Cloud Norsemen. Tauros came out Friday night with a really strong start. One of the concerns being in St. Cloud was St. Cloud just does not draw as many as the Mesa does, so it was kind of how are the boys going to feed off the energy and create their own energy, especially being away, but also, not having such a crowd environment there. But that proved to be no problem for the Tauros as they did get that game 1 win. And then that one was also crucial for the Tauros because it sets the tone for those next 3 games. First period, Brady Zuchek was able to capitalize on that power play and got a goal at the 12-minute 40-second mark. And then coming into the series, it was really interesting that I was looking forward to. The power play goal percentage and the PK percentages were pretty evenly fairly similar between the 2 teams, so it's going to be really interesting to see how those teams were able to take advantage of those. And then the second period was a scoreless second with a total of 6 penalty minutes. 4 of them were belonging to the Tauros. And then in the third period, 30 seconds left to play, and Brady Zuchek decides to get his second goal of the night, and the Tauros took game 1 in a 2-0 shutout. Devin Preslie was involved in net that night, and he got his first shutout as a Tauros with 24 saves on the night. And then a really big story there, too, was Braden Jockums returned to the Tauros after being injured, so a really big add for the Tauros, and then also just energy-wise, and he looked really great on the ice Saturday. He had a little bit more ice time, but just kind of having him return, being that chemistry in the locker room and everything like that, it was definitely something that the Tauros were needing. And when I spoke to Coach Ebner on Friday, he also told me that all week in practice, they really worked on cleaning up the D zone and focusing on the little things defensively, and we definitely saw that this past weekend. And then Saturday's game, St. Cloud came out a little bit more energy, momentum, definitely not wanting to try and avoid the sweep, but they also were kind of doing a back and forth with the Tauros. So it wasn't all Tauros the entire game. It was a scoreless first period, and then in the second period, Brady Zuchek scored on another power play, and then 2 minutes later, Michael Solominski scored to put the Tauros up 2-0. Then St. Cloud would tie it up with a goal coming from Sam Crane, and then Sam Karch both got goals of their own to tie it up. But then just 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second, Philip Wickland was able to give the Tauros the lead for 3-2. And then St. Cloud tied it with less than a minute left in regulation to send it into overtime. And then overtime, Dane Ramirez was the overtime hero on Saturday, helping the Tauros complete their sweep on the weekend and getting ready to host St. Cloud this coming weekend. It was a fun and really cold weekend in St. Cloud, but I'm sure the guys are, the coaches, and I'm sure the fans and you watching are super excited to be back in the Mesa for all of November. Everyone, hopefully you're at the Mesa. If not, you're watching, and it's just going to be really great energy here at the Mesa that we saw at Trunk or Treat Weekend, and we're super excited for November to be packed with hockey. But our Liberty Tax 3 stars of the game, third star goes to Michael Solominski for 1 goal and 1 assist. Second star is Devin Preslie. He got the 2 wins this weekend, and then that Friday night game was a shutout for him. And then the first star is Brady Zuchek with 3 goals and 1 assist. So congratulations to our 3 stars. We'll get you Kroll's goal tomorrow, so be sure to stay tuned for tomorrow's Kroll's goal of the week. And then Ask the Herd. So we are super excited to keep implementing this. And today's question is, can I still bring coat donations? And yes, we are still running the Circle Sanitation Coat Drive. There will be bins outside of the Mesa Arena this weekend. So if you have any gently used winter gear, coats, it's starting to get chilly. So be sure to donate those if you have them. So you have all week to go through your closets and bring anything Friday and Saturday for our last weekend of the coat drive. And then finally, we are going to be ending with Tauros Tok. So Mario and Dane Ramirez were able to get the votes in for their pumpkin carving. Their pumpkin ended up winning. It was the Silly Face pumpkin. If you haven't seen that, be sure to go check out our TikTok. You might have to scroll a couple of videos down, but go and check that out. We did have live voting this past weekend, and they were super excited, and we kind of asked them what do they want for their award, and they said they were going to plan that on the bus. Haven't heard back yet, so we're going to have to follow up with them and make sure that they are in agreement on kind of what they want for that award. So super exciting for them. All the boys did a great job carving their pumpkins. And then finally, Sunday Sips came out yesterday, so be sure to go and see that. We actually filmed with Devin Preslie, so super fun episode, and we will see you tomorrow, so stay tuned for this week's All Access.